This is not going to be your typical ADHD gets a planner kind of pep talk. Today, we're talking actual science and legitimate actions for getting your brain and your planner on the same page. So grab a snack and let's unpack the science of planning. We all know that ADHD has nothing to do with, oh, look, a squirrel, and like the inability to pay attention. It is a neurobiological condition that affects how our brains process information, how we manage tasks, and most importantly, how we get motivated. And this is where dopamine comes in. Dopamine is that feel-good chemical in your brain that makes you want to chase after things that are rewarding and exciting and, yeah, fun. But if you have ADHD, your dopamine receptors are just wired differently than a neurotypical's brain is wired. It is unpredictable, it's easily distracted, and it is constantly craving that next hit of stimulation. So what does this mean for things like planning and motivation? Well, when your brain isn't firing dopamine in a predictable and steady way, even the simplest tasks can feel like you're trying to climb a rock wall without a net. That to-do list is no longer just a list of tasks you need to complete. It's a dreaded reminder that every task is not going to give you the reward that you want it to give you. And for a lot of us with ADHD, that is why planning feels like such a massive and impossible task. Our brain's dopamine system is like a remote control car with a wonky battery. Sometimes it zip zooms around like it's supposed to, and sometimes it sputters and stops and starts, and it feels like it's doing it on its own timetable. In a neurotypical brain, dopamine helps them focus on a task by providing a constant and consistent reward signal. They will start something, their dopamine receptors will push out a little "good job, girl," and that motivates them to keep going. But if you have ADHD, your dopamine receptors don't always do that. And that means you're not going to feel the same rush of motivation for just starting a task. And this is why you often find yourself hyperfixating on the easy little wins, like reorganizing your spice rack for the 14th time, and why you neglect longer term or bigger projects because you know that it's going to take longer to get done, and your dopamine receptors are not going to reward you until you are done. Studies have shown that individuals with ADHD have lower baseline levels in certain areas of their brain, and that makes it way more challenging to sustain focus and motivation on tasks that don't offer an immediate reward. Understanding your brain's dopamine dance is the first step to working with it instead of against it. And one super practical tip that I can give you right here is you have to start designing your tasks to give you that dopamine hit as quickly as possible. Break your larger tasks down into smaller bite-sized chunks so that you are always finishing something. You may not finish the huge long-term goal, but you're getting those little wins and your brain's going, "You go, girl, you go, girl, you go, girl," like it does in a neurotypical brain when they're on a quote-unquote normal schedule. Obviously, this technique is not new. I talk about it all the time. And that's because it's rooted in the principles of neurological behavior science. And it really can be a game changer for our productivity. Obviously, that's not my only tip. So let's get into other ways that you can harness this and make it work for you. Number one is going to be the power of the Pomodoro. The Pomodoro technique is a time management system that involves breaking your work down into 25-minute chunks of time, followed by a 5-minute break. For those of us with ADHD, this approach can be especially effective. The shorter working intervals make daunting tasks feel manageable by providing those frequent mini wins that give us the dopamine hit that we're looking for, but also a scheduled stop time so that we know this isn't going to go on forever. So this method not only increases focus, but it also starts building in a habit of steady, slow progress. Number two, use external rewards. Another strategy is to incorporate external rewards into your planning process, because it's just not feasible to expect the completion of every single task to give you the dopamine hit that you're looking for. Sometimes you have to manufacture that shit for yourself. So promise yourself a small treat at the end of your work session. And it can be something as small as a cup of your favorite coffee. It could be a longer break of watching a television show, or even just pulling out a fun hobby for a little bit before you start working again. And this isn't about bribing yourself. It's about structuring your environment to work with the way your brain works instead of constantly fighting against it like you're trying to punch a brick wall. And yes, science supports this. Research shows that positive reinforcement can significantly boost motivation. Number three, include variety. For ADHD brains, the lure of novelty is immense. That's why having the same old routine every single day becomes a total snooze fest. So instead of building a routine, try building a menu, a list of all the things that you need to get done, but allow yourself to cherry pick from that list. That way you can allow yourself to work on just the tasks that you have the energy for and the interest in. Eventually, yeah, it's all gonna get done. And if you are like me, at the end of your week, you're going to end up with a bunch of bullshit tasks that you don't want to do, and you're going to have to find a way to make yourself do them by picking other things off of this list, right? You're going to do it in Pomodoro breaks, or you're going to do it with bigger rewards for accomplishing these tasks that you have put off, because we always put them off. It's just how we work. But the bonus to this is you can look at this list and see all the other things that you've managed to get done, and it does create this sense of accomplishment. Because yeah, you did the easier stuff, but you got it done and it had to be done. So it's not a foolproof plan, but it is a plan and it does work. Number 4, harness technology. We live in an age where technology is both a blessing and a curse for the ADHD brain. Because on one hand, your phone is the ultimate distraction machine. But on the other, there are some incredible digital tools to help with organization and productivity and time management that work so much better for some people than a paper system would. Apps like Todoist or Trello, or even just a simple Google Calendar that sends you alerts to keep you on top of your appointments and your to-do list and all the things that need to get done. Some of these apps will even break those tasks down for you, so you don't have to come up with natural breaking points in a project. It can do it for you and tell you what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. The key to finding a digital system for you is to find one that feels intuitive, that feels easy to use, and is built with an ADHD brain in mind. Number 5, I want you to focus on mindfulness and self-compassion. While it might sound counterintuitive to slow down when you're used to being in a constant buzz of activity, practicing mindfulness can actually help regulate your dopamine system. Studies have shown that mindfulness meditation can actually increase dopamine levels and help improve focus. And here's the kicker. Mindfulness is not about trying to clear your mind. It's about acknowledging your thoughts, giving yourself a break, and gently guiding yourself back to the task at hand. Pair that with self-compassion, talking to yourself and treating yourself the way you would a friend instead of the way you probably do on a daily basis, and you will make huge strides in combating the negative cycle of self-criticism that tends to come with having ADHD. Number 6, embrace imperfection. You had to know that was going to be on the list, right? Come on. There are always going to be days that go off the rails, and that's okay. Instead of beating yourself up for not sticking with the plan, learn to embrace the messiness of life. Research in positive psychology shows us that embracing imperfection and being flexible can lead to greater overall happiness and resilience. So if your planner isn't as neat or as filled out as you would like, stop stressing about it. Just consider it a work in progress. Something that I came across while I was researching this video is scheduled spontaneity, and I am obsessed. Like, I don't know why this didn't occur to me, and I had to go out and find it on the internet. It's where you schedule time in your day where you are allowed to do whatever you want. This is especially helpful for people who use hourly planners to plan their day. You just block out an hour and you don't put anything in it. You get to fill it with whatever you want. You can doom scroll on Instagram. You can watch TikToks about cats. You can read your favorite fan fiction book from 2003. You can work on crocheting a baby blanket. Doesn't matter. You get to do whatever you want. You have scheduled the spontaneity into your day. You are freeing up your mind and just your overall self from sticking to some kind of rigid plan. And it's amazing. Like, I'm so excited about this. It's a great way to stick to a schedule, but also give your brain the novelty and freedom that it needs when you have ADHD to stretch and have fun. Number 7, build a supportive environment. Your environment plays a huge role in how well you can plan and be productive. A cluttered space can lead to a cluttered mind. I say this all the time. And while minimalism is not really a solution for most of us, creating an environment that minimizes distractions can be a huge game changer. This could be as simple as having a dedicated workspace for each task that you need to do. When I'm filming a video, I'm right here. I sit here, I face this way, and it is filming time. My environment has been created to make this as easy as possible for me. It eliminates distractions, because if you could see what is behind this camera, it is plain white boxes full of magic cards and sports cards. Not very interesting. I'm not going to stare off into them and watch them and be entertained by them. No, I'm going to focus on the task at hand because I have created an environment that allows me to do so. When your environment is supportive, it is so much easier for your dopamine receptors to work at an optimum level. Number 8, accountability and social support. Sometimes we need a little external push to get stuff done. Find an accountability buddy. Find a friend that can check in with you and make sure that you're staying on task as much as possible. You could even connect with someone in our community. The women in my comments are some of the most strong, capable, smart, amazing human beings I have ever come across in my life. I am so honored and grateful to have a parasocial relationship with all of you, and maybe now it's time for you to create parasocial relationships with each other. Sharing your goals and progress with someone can provide a dopamine boost through social reinforcement. This could be as easy as a weekly check-in or a daily, nightly DM. Hey, in the morning I need to do this, and at night, hey, did you get this done? I mean, it can be super simple and fairly hands-off, but it still gives you that accountability and that social support that motivates you to get your shit done. Number 9, track your progress with micro wins. One of the best, easiest ways to fire up that dopamine is to celebrate every mini win. Instead of setting a massive goal, like plan my entire week perfectly, break it down into those smaller tasks and celebrate every single step you hit. Every time you complete a small task, I don't care how small it is, that's a win. And you're gonna track these wins in your planner. It's kind of like a reverse to-do list where after you complete a task, you write it down. So you just have this visual reminder in front of you of all the things that you accomplished and maybe how you celebrated each accomplishment. And number 10, try reframing your mindset around planning, because at the core of all of this is your mindset. Instead of constantly viewing your planner as a chore or something that has to be done, try to see it as a tool that works with your unique brain wiring. Understand and accept that it's okay if your planner is never going to be Instagram perfect. Accept the fact that your to-do list is never going to be to done. Because what do we say here in the Rebel family? Progress over perfection. Embrace the small victories. Learn from the setbacks. Because when you shift your mindset from constant pressure to more curiosity and self-compassion, you are far more likely to succeed in your planning efforts. And one last science nugget for the reals who hang out through the end of this video. Forming habits is not about willpower. It's completely about designing an environment that makes your desired behavior easy to do. Behavioral scientists have learned that habits are more likely to stick when they're tied to specific cues and rewards. So if you're trying to build a new planning habit, try creating a ritual around it. For example, always start your planning sessions by lighting your favorite candle and having a cup of tea or coffee or flavored water. The beverage becomes the cue. The lighting of the candle becomes the physical anchor, and your planner becomes the reward. So over time, your brain is going to associate that sequence with feelings of accomplishment and calm, and you're turning your planner into the dopamine cue. So what have we learned today about the science of planning and ADHD and dopamine production? It is not about forcing yourself into an all or nothing, super strict, rigid routine. It is about understanding the intricate dance of your brain's chemistry. It's about breaking your tasks down into small, manageable action steps. And it's about creating an environment that supports your unique outlook on life. We have to start celebrating the small wins. We have to start incorporating self-compassion into our lives. And we have to believe that progress is not linear. It is always going to be messy and unpredictable. So while there's no one size fits all that is going to work for everybody, the key is to experiment and to adapt and to be willing to admit when something's not working and allow yourself to try something new. Our brains are wonderful, quirky, unpredictable machines, and sometimes they need a little push. So by harnessing the science of dopamine, setting up your supportive environments, and giving yourself grace, you can transform your planning process into what it was meant to be, which is a powerful tool for productivity and well-being. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that this resonated with you. I hope that you found some helpful information in here and maybe a few new ideas that are going to help you create your own dopamine reward system around your planning system. Don't forget to smash all those YouTube buttons for me and leave me a comment below and just let me know how you're doing. Drop an emoji, let me know what's going on. Just, let's connect in the comments like we do. I will see you next time. I love you so much.